Natural Disaster Part 1. In this part, we are going to see many natural disasters, how they occur, and what are the reasons behind their occurrence. So, in this part, as well as in the coming parts, we are going to see what are the causes or what are the reasons for these natural disasters, like how things happening inside the earth leads to certain kind of natural disaster, how movement of natural forces on the surface of earth leads to natural disaster. All these points are going to be explored in these videos. Topics to be covered in this part: natural disaster and cause that leads to these natural disaster, types of natural disaster, the earth structure, tectonic plates and its movement, earthquake and reason for its cause, diagram of earthquake, consequences of earthquake, preparedness before and during an earthquake. So let's see one by one all of these topics. Natural disaster. A natural disaster is the damage or destruction caused by the natural forces. It results in great loss of life and property. In this chapter, we will discuss about different types of natural disaster. So anything because of the natural forces like air, water, fire, all these are natural causes. If any destruction are done by these kind of natural forces, then it will be called natural disaster. In other words, natural disaster is a sudden event in the nature that causes large damage and loss of life and property. For example, earthquake, tsunami, cyclone, flood, drought, volcanoes, landslides, etc. All these are examples of natural disaster which we can either hear it in news or read about it in the newspapers. So all over the world, some or the other natural disaster keeps on occurring and it disturbs the whole environment. All these natural forces have some or the other reason. One of the most important reason for occurrence or the movement in these natural forces is the earth's structure itself. So to understand why these disasters occur, we should understand earth's structure. Earth's structure consists of three important parts. When we look earth in a dissection, that is cut from the half, we see all these layers in the earth's structure. The crust or the outermost layer of the earth, that is you can see in the brown color and also in green and blue color. This is the outside layer of the earth and is made up of solid rock, mostly basalt and granite. There are two types of crust: oceanic and continental. The oceanic crust is denser, you can see in blue color, and thinner. Continental crust is less dense. So this green area is the continental crust and the oceanic crust is shown in blue color. So ocean has oceanic crust and continents have continental crust. The next layer is the mantle. You can see the yellow region here. The mantle lies below the crust and is up to 2,900 kilometers thick. It consists of hot, dense iron and magnesium-rich solid rock. The crust and the upper part of the mantle makes up the lithosphere. So the crust, this is the brown part, and the upper part of the mantle, only this area, makes the lithosphere, which is broken into plates, both large and small. The core Next one is the core. It is divided into two parts. The core is the center of the earth and is made up of two parts. The liquid outer core, you can see it in orange color, and the solid inner core, which you can see in a deeper orange or a red color. The outer core is made up of nickel, iron and molten rocks. So the outer core, you can see here, these are made up of all these things. Temperature here can reach up to 50,000 degrees Celsius. So it is very hot inside, and because of this structure of earth, there are many movement inside the surface of earth that we are unaware of, and because of these movements only, many things occur on the surface as well. The crust and the upper part of the mantle together makes the lithosphere, and the lithosphere is broken into many plates. These plates are known as tectonic plates. Our earth is made up of 7 large tectonic plates which is in continuous motion. These plates contain both continents and oceans. Many physical features of earth are formed due to these plates. So the plates, that the 7 large tectonic plates of our world is, first one is the African plate, you can see in green. Second one is the Australian plate, you can see in blue. Third one is the Eurasian plate, yellow in color. Fourth one is North American plate, you can see in peach color. And fifth one is the Pacific plate, light blue in color. Sixth one is South American plate, you can see in light green color. And seventh one is the Antarctic plate. All other plates are just representation or extension of these large plates only, so don't get confused. Only these are the 7 important large tectonic plates of our world. Let's see the first natural disaster planned for us, that is the earthquake. An earthquake is a natural disaster which causes sudden shaking and trembling of the earth's surface. Because of this tremble and shaking, many houses on the surface get destroyed. You can see some houses get tilted. There are lots of crack on the surface of the houses, and it may further lead to other disasters such as landslides or tsunami, which we are going to see in the next video of these disasters also. The scientific study of earthquake is called seismology, but scientists cannot predict the earthquake. An instrument which measures and records the earthquake is called seismograph. It looks like this. So whenever there is movement, it's the ball fixed mass, that is a heavy ball kept in swinging, it starts moving, and this kind of pattern is created which shows their sudden movement on the surface of earth. When there is light and very minute movement, you can see the readings here, very light, and as soon as there is a vigorous or very hard movement on the surface, it goes moving very long lines. Yes, and that is how scientists come to know that there is an earthquake. The intensity, that is the force of earthquake, is measured on a Richter scale or a Richter scale. This is a Richter scale, you can see. The spelling is Richter, but it is pronounced Richter. Now we have seen various tectonic plates on the surface of Earth. So it will be easy for us to understand the cause of earthquake. An earthquake occurs due to the internal pressure within the earth. Because of this internal pressure, there is a movement in these tectonic plates. The earthquake occurs when two interlocking plates collide, separate, or subside in the earth's crust. So whenever two interlocking tectonic plates, they come towards each other, they collide. And this collision leads to the formation of fold mountains. And when these interlocking plates separate from each other, there are valleys and rifts formed. Sometimes these separation of tectonic plates leads to the formation of volcanoes. The third movement of these tectonic plates is the subsiding movement, when the Earth's tectonic plate move in the opposite direction or pass each other. This movement also leads to the trembling of Earth. This tectonic activity releases lots of energy which travels in forms of waves. When these waves reach the Earth's surface, they cause an earthquake. Now let's understand the earthquake with the help of a diagram. The place from where the earthquake originates is called the focus. So the place where two tectonic plates are in movement, whether they are colliding, separating or subsiding, there is a weak point. That weak point is called the focus from where the earthquake originates. The point directly above the focus on the surface of Earth is called the epicenter. See both the spelling epicenter, you can see the difference here, T-E-R at the end and T-R-E. Both are correct, both can be written and both are correct. Also known as hypocenter. So this is the place where these waves meet the surface of the Earth. And the effect of earthquake is the greatest at its epicenter. So as these earthquake waves move away from the focus, they become milder and milder. But the place exactly on the top of the focus faces the most disaster. So that is the way how earthquake waves travel. These waves are also known as seismic waves. Consequences of earthquake. It causes a great loss of life and property. Many people lose their house, life, and their relatives, and many more things because of these earthquakes. An earthquake that takes place under the ocean can give rise to tsunami. This kind of large waves can come directly from the ocean towards the land area, submerging the whole area underwater. So this is the tsunami waves I was talking about. Transport and communication links may be disrupted, water pipes may burst, and water supplies may be contaminated. So because of earthquake, maybe the transportation, communication, and the water supplies, food supplies, all will be damaged. Everything will be trapped under these boulders and you cannot reach anything after an earthquake. So because of the earthquake, there are so much great trouble in the living of we humans. Preparedness to be taken for earthquake. Although the scientists cannot predict the earthquake, but they have divided the earthquake zones of the world. Now, if you are making a house in a particular area, you should know what kind of area you are living at. So, you will be analyzing the type of house you will be making in that kind of region. So, all these preparedness and farsightedness will help to reduce the impact of earthquake. In case there is an earthquake, there should be certain steps before the earthquake, during the earthquake, and after the earthquake that we should keep in our mind. So, before the earthquake, we should run towards the exit and assemble at the same safe place. We should practice this habit regularly so that if in case there is an earthquake, we should be ready. Then We should know where the fire extinguishers are and use it when required. We should also keep emergency kit handy with all the equipments which might be required. But now during an earthquake, we should keep calm. When inside a building, drop, cover and hold under a safe shelter. Safe shelter means something that is strong. When outside a building, move away from building to an open space. Some steps are there that we should follow after the earthquake. While exiting the building, and you should avoid elevators and use stairs. If you have to evacuate your home, then leave a message stating where you are going and carry your emergency kit. Get updated from local authorities. So these are some of the preparedness one should take. To sum up the preparedness, we should run to an open area or ground. If inside the building, we should take shelter under anything which is strong. In an area which are prone to earthquake, houses are made up of light material and high-rise buildings are avoided. Awareness campaigns should be conducted to prepare the people for emergency. When we follow all these preparedness, then only we can reduce the impact of earthquake. Some facts related to the earthquake. So far, there has been 62 earthquakes in India. The first recorded earthquake in India was on 6th June 1505. It occurred in Saldang and Karnali zone, and the most recent one happened in India on 31st January 2018 and occurred in Kashmir, Pakistan, Afghanistan and Tajikistan. Here is a look at 5 major earthquakes to have struck in India in the past. Bihar, magnitude 8.1, date January 15, 1934. Gujarat, magnitude of 7.7, the date January 26, 2001. That is the Bhuj earthquake. We have already seen that. Maharashtra, the magnitude of 6.4, dated September 30, 1993. The Assam earthquake with a magnitude of 8.6, date August 15, 1950. Uttarkashi, magnitude of 6.1, dated October 20, 1991. So these are the 5 major earthquakes that have shook our India about 62 times. These are some of the 5, and we should just remember these. That's all for the topic earthquake. Let's go through quickly the things we have seen in these slides. A sudden event in the nature that cause large damage and loss of life and property is known as natural disaster, like earthquake, tsunami, cyclone, flood, drought, landslide, etc. The Earth's structure consists of 3 layers: the crust, the mantle, and the core. The earthquake is the sudden shaking and trembling of Earth's surface. Our Earth is made up of 7 large tectonic plates. Earthquakes occur when 2 interlocking plates collide, separate, or subside in Earth's crust. It causes a great loss of life and property. Preparedness can reduce the damages caused by earthquake. With this, natural disaster part 1 comes to an end. In the next videos, we are going to see some more natural disasters that will be helpful for you to understand the impact of natural disasters. Thank you, and thank you for learning.